Hi everyone, welcome back. So today I wanted to sit down and kind of go over the planner that I just kind of, I guess, recreated, put back together again for my YouTube / Etsy business. So I have actually, well, let me back up a little bit. So the reason I put this together, if you follow me on Instagram, I mentioned blame it on the taxes. Every single year I kind of discover, yet again, I've put off doing the financial side of things for my business. And so I end up spending like 4 to 5 hours combing through all of the purchases I've made and the money I've received and looking for things that I need to put on the financials for my business. So I'd like to try and stop doing that going forward. We can only hope. So kind of on the forethought of kind of make it fun and it will get done, I thought, why not just kind of find a planner that I have that I can dedicate towards it. So yes, this is an A5 planner. I've actually had this for a few years. It's a Vanderspek Touch Me in Noir. I get a lot of questions about floppiness of leather and things. This, you guys, is super floppy. I like floppy planners. This is a little too floppy. So chances are it does have a big back pocket. I'm going to find something to put back here to kind of give it a little more structure, because it's just, you open it and it's literally all over the place. So I think it's part of the reason I stopped using it. Like when you pick it up, it just kind of, there's nothing there. So if you're getting anything in kind of the Touch Me leather from Vanderspek and you're ordering a custom, you probably want to get a little stiffener, because yeah, there's nothing kind of keeping it here. And I actually have stuff in the pockets. That's the other kind of scary thing. So anyway, like I said, most of this, I just kind of shopped my stash. So I had a lot of it, actually a lot of it was already in here, because several years ago I'd put together a planner to use kind of day to day at my normal day job. I did go back at some point and change out the rings. It does normally come with silver rings, but I ordered gold ones and put them in. So that's why this has gold rings, but if you look, it has a silver popper, but that doesn't bother me. I did actually very much like the gold and the black. So standard Touch Me setup, there's a zipper pocket here, which I don't have anything in. There is a slip pocket here, a slip pocket here, and a secretarial pocket. In the back side, there are card slots. There's kind of a pocket here, another slip pocket, and another secretarial pocket. It does have 2 pockets here as well in the front. So, and I mentioned big back pocket in the back. That's kind of their standard setup. So some of this I will remember where I got it from. If I do, I will mention it. If not, I've had it for forever and who knows. A lot of my dashboards and things are from Cloth and Paper, like this one. This was actually paper, I think from Michael's. I do not remember where I got this from, a long time ago. Sticky notes are pretty much from Cloth and Paper as well. Same with this. This actually came in the finance bundle from Cloth and Paper in her subscription box. So I don't know if I think she might have these on her website, I'm not sure. So the only thing I did end up not pulling out of my stash was 2020 inserts. I didn't have those in A5 size anywhere. So I ended up going with Infinite Lotus inserts for that. So this is her 2020 annual bundle, which basically has kind of a year glance on the front, 12 months here for you to write down important events, 2020 vision, and then quarterly reviews. So I did the first quarterly review since we just finished up the first quarter. Have not done the one for the 4 here. I don't remember where I got these dividers from. It could be Sesame. It could be Cloth and Paper. Or it could be Brooklyn Grace Co. It's one of the 3 of them. They all look very similar. They're just clear, kind of like frosted dividers with the months in gold foil. So inside of each month, I'll actually show you April, because that's the one that is complete. I have one of the financial bundle inserts from Cloth and Paper. Again, this came in subscription box. So it has like income on the front, bills and subscriptions, and on the back there's non-essential daily spending. I'm kind of tweaking this. That's not exactly how I'm using it, but it's good enough for what I need. And then from Infinite Lotus, I have the monthly and weekly pages. So on the front of that, there's a monthly overview, which I'm using. So it has top goals, important dates, and to do. My laser printer, for whatever reason, does not like thin lines. So I can see it. You may not be able to, but there are lines and things here. There's also an April monthly overview. So this is kind of where I'm keeping track of when I post things, there's a column here that's kind of like blank. It's not assigned to a date. So I'm keeping track of things maybe I want to do that week. And then, as I had been doing in other planners, keeping track of deposits I get from like Etsy and YouTube and stuff. So then you have a week on 2 pages, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, memo. It does have 3 lines here at the top and a little mini calendar. And it is, again, lined. I don't know if you can see that because it is kind of faint because of my lovely laser printer. So I am kind of putting up at the top the 3 things I want to get done for that week, and then individual to-dos on specific days. So filming, business planner setup, and financial inserts flip, that will get written down here. I didn't know if I was going to get around to doing this. Usually I don't do as much like day job work on Wednesdays, but with everything being as it is and working from home, I can't take anything for granted. So anyway, so I have the rest of the month in weeklies. The last page is a monthly review. So you have accomplishments, gratitude, lessons learned, and notes. And then I jump back into a couple of inserts that came with that financial bundle. So there's an expense log, that's 2 pages. And I put this gratitude and reflect page in here. I don't know if I'm going to use this yet. Originally, I was going to keep track of things on here and use this as kind of like planning for my month or reflection on the month. But looking at what is written down here, I don't think it's really going to apply. So this may end up coming out and being used for something else. The expense log is mostly in case I need extra pages here, because this is not enough room. This should be enough room. I don't think it'll be an issue. So what will happen is chances are I'll just use this a different time, maybe next year or whatever. So each of the months is set up that way, May, June. Because right now I only had letter size paper, and how the A5 inserts, because I'm printing them true A5, print on letter size paper, there's a lot of waste. So I only printed out Q2. I'm going to print out the last 6 months sometime next week. I actually ordered some A5 sized paper, so that way I'm not cutting as much and wasting as much. So that is the section here. So this is all calendar stuff. The next part here is just kind of like a to-do list inbox sort of section. To-do list. I have a list of things that I want to do for Etsy. I have in Notion, which if you've watched my videos before, is kind of hard to describe, but it does have tables and you can make relational tables. And so I've been kind of keeping track of what I'm still working on for Etsy as far as different sizes, dates, that sort of thing. But I wanted something kind of all at a glance, because the one in Etsy, while it works really well and it kind of helps me focus, I needed kind of a broad overview. So that's what this is here. And then I also decided, kind of like I have my reference section for my personal stuff. Let me grab that for you. So this is still my like everyday carry planner. It's a traveler's notebook. But I have a reference section in here that has kind of all of my review checklists. So mainly something like this, where I have annual, quarterly, monthly, weekly, daily, things that I need to do in order to kind of keep my life running, keep my planners up to date, all that jazz. But I need something like that for business side hustle stuff, whatever you want to call it. So I actually was brainstorming last night things that I would probably want to do on a recurring basis. So things like recording income and expenses, doing like bookkeeping things, updating my task list, brain dumping tasks and projects, reviewing and removing expired inserts, updating featured listings, reviewing recording stats, returning messages in all the various places they show up, responding to and planning custom requests, reviewing trends and incorporating them. I saw someplace, I started doing some research online. Unfortunately, there's not really a good like checklist set. So this may end up be something that I make available for people in my shop. But they were saying to break them down into general areas. So like business admin, new product development, social media, photography or image design, and then everyday tasks. So that's also a way that I'm thinking about this. Creating new designs, brainstorming topics for YouTube, updating shop announcements, reviewing YouTube and Etsy visual identities, also Instagram and Facebook, reviewing and using Google Keyword Planner to research topics, reviewing and updating playlists in YouTube, and then I started kind of dividing some things out between weekly, monthly, and annually. So that will make another appearance at some point in the future when I get that kind of figured out and organized inside my brain. So then I have a bunch of blank note paper. This is actually from Kiki K. It came with an A5 planner that I ordered eons ago. I think these half sheet ones are from Infinite Lotus, if I'm not mistaken, but I don't remember because there's not anything on them to identify where they came from. So this is actually something I created and is available in my shop, is business expenses insert. A lot of the business planner type stuff that I was finding on YouTube was focused on a lot of planning sorts of things and, you know, planning videos, planning Etsy stuff, you know, checklists for things that you want to do for individual stuff. It was a little too detailed. What I needed was some place to keep track of my income and expenses for the year as we go along, so that at the end of the year, I don't have to spend 5 or 6 hours recreating financials. So that is where this has come from. So this is what it looks like. And again, this is A5 size. I do have them in all sizes except for maybe pocket, which may be coming. I haven't decided yet because that's not a lot of room. I don't know that you want to be tracking all of this in pocket size. So the first 2 pages are basically your 12-month cash flow. So this is what you would then turn into whoever is doing your CPA or put this information on your taxes. Mine's a little messy because this is what I was actually using when I spent 6 hours recreating this the other night. So I have January 2019. There's a spot you write it in. I actually set it up to where there are 2 full pages for each month. That's a lot of space, especially on the A5 size. At the bottom, you have a total for income and a total for expense. And then I don't have many categories. So for me, it's pretty easy to eyeball. I had 2 expenses related to Etsy. Everything else was YouTube. So that's kind of how it goes. I ended up not needing all the extra pages. This is what blank ones look like. They're fairly plain, but it just needed to be a place to write stuff down. So essentially, as you fill these out, you transfer these 2 numbers over to this page. So March is pretty simple. So I had income of $4.86 in March for Etsy. So I wrote Etsy down here under income, wrote that over. Then I had $69.53 of expenses for YouTube. So here under expenses, I have YouTube and I wrote $69.53. And then you have a total for both sections. So if you have more than one item, you can total it up. And then at the very bottom, there's a profit/loss section. And then everything totals up here on the right. So that's kind of how it works. Like I said, it's very simple, but sometimes that's all you need. It's just something very simple. The last 6 pages, I think, there's a year-end review where you can write down what your income sources are, the total income that you got from each one, whether you're expecting a tax document. Here in the United States, if you make over $600, you generally get a 1099. So You can make a note of whether you think you're supposed to get one, and then you can check it off when you've received it. There's also a best performing area. So I used each of these columns for first, second, and third best performing, just so I can kind of go back and review what did well. So as far as Etsy, pretty much all of my review inserts did really well. Personal size, everybody really loved. Then A5 and then half letter. And then as far as YouTube goes, I had a GTD video, Getting Things Done Part 1, that did well last year. Ironically, I think it's from 2 years ago. Work bullet journal, also from years past. And then a November planner update. So those were my top 3 videos of last year as far as monetary stuff goes. There's also a year-end review here where you could compare last year versus, well, I guess it would be like 2018 versus 2019, what the difference is, and then what your goal would be for the following year. There's also a space for goals and ideas, and there's an instruction section. So it kind of tells you how to fill all of this out. So there's like a sample income and expenses, and then there's a sample 12-month cash flow page. So you can kind of see how things flow through. So these are actually already available. They've been in my shop for a couple of months now, but they are ready to go. If, like me, you needed to kind of get yourself up and caught up. So I have, as you saw up here, started filling things out on these sheets. So I will probably transfer them through to the other ones at some point in the time. I started filling out April. I need to go, actually I did go back and fill out to January. But it's one of those things where you have these inserts, and so I'd like to use them rather than let them go to waste. Actually, I didn't get all figured out because I have stuff to put in for expenses. I just put in income for January and February. I think I was working backwards. Anyway, so that is that section here with the income and expenses, and then I just have some extra pages of various things there. This was a very long ago yearly, quarterly, monthly, etc. set of review stuff that was very generic. This was kind of what stuff that I have in here was at the very beginning. So I'll probably look at some of this, but this does have personal things in it, and so the one I want to put together is just going to be for business stuff. I have some extra spots back here that I don't know what I'm going to do with yet. This plastic insert here, I believe, came from Cloth and Paper as a part of some of the stuff we got. Same with the stickers, but obviously I haven't used. This was also Cloth and Paper, these 2 cards. And again, more stuff that I have had for so long, I don't remember where it came from. I do know, I believe this is a Cloth and Paper card that came with something. This is from Minted Sugar. I'm not sure if they're still making these notepads, but I actually really like it. It has my name on it, which is kind of cool. And then I have, hoping to give it a little structure, just a notepad that came with an old Kiki K binder. Obviously I'm going to need to get something with like this chipboard and put it in the back of the planner to kind of keep it from flopping around quite so much. And then my usual pen that I love, that I seem to use in pretty much every planner, is the Pentel Philography. This does have the Energel 0.5 ink in it. Because for something this size, I don't mind having a thicker ink, so I write a little bit bigger. So that is how this is set up. Oh, these came from Cloth and Paper also. They're little cards. I have inbox. There's one for goals. It came as a set, and then there was also one, I think, for a memo, but those are just the ones I think I'll use right now. It's not so much that I want things to be decorative. I just wanted there to be some functional things. Obviously these rulers came from Filofax since the names are all over them. And this is actually a Snap Simple Stories A5 ruler bookmarky thing. So yeah, like I said, a lot of this is just stuff I had someplace in my stash. A lot of it was actually already in here, left over from the last time I was had put together a business type planner. So I had tried to use for a little bit, if you watch some of my really old videos, a happy planner that had like a dashboard sort of a layout. It's just a little too much. I need something that's just enough room to write what I need to write, but doesn't make me feel obligated or bad that I'm wasting a bunch of paper. So I think that's why I've kind of gone with this format. That's why in here I'm using like a modified bullet journal sort of a situation. I don't know, I just don't like wasting paper, even if it is really pretty. But these are actually, just a quick note, these are actually both the same leather. So this is also Vanderspec. This was a custom, it's not a Codex, Nomad, that's what they are. Basically it's the same format that Ink Imperfections had asked for. I just had them widen a little bit, so that's 10 millimeters on each side. So it's a little bit longer, so that way if I stuff it, it has a little room to kind of shrink back without things hanging out too much. But if you notice, there's just enough room for pens where it's not squishing too badly anyway. Any of my tabs or whatever. All right, this is like working in a mirror. Here we go. So anyway, and so the irony is I have these two, and then I have, let me grab the other one. So this is the third one that I'm kind of playing with right now. It's a Filofax in Kingfisher, I think is the name of the color. And I really love the leather. It's super happy and cheerful, which is kind of what I wanted. But now I'm like, do I need to complete the black trifecta? I actually have a black pocket in this leather, but let me show you what I'm looking at just because I have it. It's a Filofax black croc pocket. And the rings are the same size, so I know everything will fit. The only reason I haven't used this quite so much is the leather is very stiff. And I mean, I like floppy leather, but it's like getting it to lay flat and train it. So I don't know. This is why I have so many covers. I mean, I keep the same I keep the guts, but sometimes it's just nice to trade them out. But it doesn't that look pretty? I mean, just, I don't know. I kind of need the sunshine, but I kind of like the black. So anyway, you know, planner problems. So if you're following me on Instagram, you might actually see this make an appearance for a couple of weeks, and then I can always switch back into this afterwards. Trying to think, this one has a pocket here, a couple slip pockets. So it's a slightly different setup from the Malden. Like, I will not have these three things, but I don't really need them necessarily. And I can move some of what's in the front into the back. And this is obviously just tucked in, so I might be able to fit it in. No, actually it probably wouldn't fit in there. I'd probably have to tuck this in the back if I really wanted to have it with me. But just mostly just for deco. But anyway, who knows? Maybe you'll see this briefly in an Instagram post or two. Because I probably would switch back to this after a couple of weeks. But anyway, it's a lot of rambling. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Hopefully you enjoyed getting a walkthrough of this planner, because this is actually what I am wanting to show you guys the inside of. If you have any questions, leave it down below, especially if you have any questions about the business inserts. If you have any suggestions, if you have an Etsy or YouTube shop/channel, and there's anything that was kind of like on that list that was, or not on the list that was missing, let me know down below, because sometimes it's just something you have to kind of experience, like, oh yeah, I should be doing that. Or I just may not even realize that I should be doing something that would make my life a ton easier. I don't know. So anyway, I'd be interested to hear if you have any suggestions as far as what I should include on that list that I should be doing more often. My day job is in accounting, so that's usually where my brain first goes to. I'm not on the marketing side of the business or anything like that, so I'm definitely open to suggestions. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content like this, I welcome you to subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Bye!